Mr. Scheer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think it's really important for Canadians to understand why this is such a big deal. You have come from a very, very partisan past, what some might describe as a hyper-partisan role, given the fact that you have served in executive-level positions. I think you said national, was it director of the Liberal Party, president of the Youth Wing. You were parliamentary secretary to the Prime Minister right up until the beginning of this fall session. Those are roles in which you are very close with the government, very close with the Prime Minister himself. And then to transition into becoming Speaker, to running for Speaker, members of Parliament have to kind of, once you won, we have to park that history of yours and trust that you're going to be nonpartisan and objective. The fundamental rule of being Speaker is also one of the easier rules to follow. And that is, you just don't do partisan things. You don't participate in partisan events. You don't say things publicly, or certainly not in a capacity wearing Speaker's robes or in his office that would have any connection to partisan activities or partisanship or indicating partisan favor. You did the interview with the Globe and Mail where you praised a sitting Liberal politician who, as far as we all know, is planning. He's currently an MPP. He's given every indication he's going to run again as a Liberal in Ontario. So it's not like it was a retirement party or he's going off to do something else. He's going to continue being an active partisan player in Ontario politics. You referred to the Ontario Party as our party. So all of this comes to light. In addition to this, we understand that your chief of staff, which I understand your hesitance to name certain people at committee, but he is listed on a public website, the Government Employee Directory Service, and that is Tommy Defoss. I understand that he was very close with the current Prime Minister, Prime Minister Trudeau. He was his executive assistant at one point, and now he's your chief of staff. So having that hyper-partisan role in your very recent past, hiring someone very quickly out of the PMO with a very close relationship, personal relationship with the Prime Minister, and now this comes to light. So I again ask you, you talked about the arbitrator and you didn't quite address the nature of my question. If you're a hockey player and you're about to play a game and you just saw the referee in his uniform giving a pep talk to the locker room of an opposing team, it wouldn't matter what the context was, would it? You wouldn't want that official refereeing your game. If you were involved in some kind of dispute that needed an arbitrator and you saw that judge in his robes at an event with opposing counsel, it wouldn't matter what the context was. You can't unsee that. You've now acknowledged there was a grave error of judgment. As many colleagues have mentioned, you are trusted to make on-the-spot decisions without time to run things through filters or decision-making trees. And we have to trust that that's coming from a nonpartisan and objective place. And I would suggest the fact that you didn't see that shows that you're still too close to the partisanship of it. You're too close with these partisan players that you don't see that for members of other parties, it would be a problem. So again, would just ask you, would you want to hear your case adjudicated? Would you want to play in a sports game, having seen the referee or having seen the judge or arbitrator involved in that type of display with an adversary or with an opponent? Would you trust that process having seen that?
Madam Chair, through you, I think it's really important, and I thank the honourable member for his intervention, the person who has sat in this role before. To go back to the ref analogy, quite frankly, it was a different league in which we were involved. But B, I also recognize that the member is right, that talking about my past, although when in that reference to the notion of our party, that was when I was actually a resident of Ontario back in the late 1980s, early 1990s, up until 1994. That was at that time that it was referred to that. Now, I do not like talking, I don't want to talk about my past here, because every time I do, I know that it sounds like I'm being partisan. It was a matter of record that at that time, we were both members of the same party. It is a fact that I don't want to, I'm not validating that today. So I just want to make sure about that. Second thing, you'd raised the issue of my chief of staff. When I, as you know, being speaker, that you are administrating a large organization here. My chief of staff left Parliament Hill in 2008, early 2018, almost 6 years that he's been occupying a senior management role in the private sector. He is someone who can help manage this, but more importantly, someone who also has political experience, who understands what it is to be a third political party, to be in official opposition, and in government. So someone who has an ability to really hear and respond to the needs which are brought up by all folks. So that's the reason why this person was hired. He's calm, he's collected, and has a great reputation on the Hill.